What's going on, guys? Joey672 coming to you guys over there right now. So I want to go over training camp day 2. I'm very happy to say that this is done. I can't wait till each more of these days are rolling by and we get to see what's going on with this team and you know what changes are being made, who's really standing out. But a lot of things did happen today. A lot of good things were said today. So let's get straight to the news. Jim Schwartz had a press conference today, talked about this defensive line, talked about the whole defense as a unit, talked about the defensive line, and pretty much said that this defense keeps the train rolling on defense. The defensive line is what is the important part of this defense, and that's what's going to get, you know, for corners to make plays, and this is where the secondary is going to get better, and defensive line with all the depth behind it. He talked about Josh Schwartz as well, said that he's actually got one of the most violent hands on the defensive line, and, you know, said that he's gotten a lot faster, he's got more agile, and, you know, he's very lengthy. He's very long, which I knew he was. His arms are humongous. You know, his arms are very long, and he can get around guys pretty easy. He can extend his arms and have that advantage. Talked about Avonte Maddox, the cornerback. Talked about how he could play inside and outside. Talked about Malcolm Jenkins. Pretty much said, hey, Malcolm Jenkins played over, you know, about 7 different positions last year, and I believe it because I've seen him everywhere, including the linebacker position. Talking about, you know, the more pieces you have on defense that can play more than one position. Jim Schwartz said if you could play at least 2 positions, you're pretty much set. So I can't really, you know, complain about, you know, any of these guys. You know, we have one of the cheapest groups, you know, cap hit wise this year, but when you're disciplined and you're playing as a unit, you really take over games easily with this secondary. But the one thing you want to make sure is that the defensive line is not taking hits from injury and all that. So in other cases too, he brought up Derek Barnett as well, saying that it was really sad to see, you know, he was playing so well last year until he got hurt. But he's not even worried about Derek Barnett. Jim Schwartz knows that Derek Barnett is going to have a very good year this year and for years to come. Carson Wentz was on 7-on-7 drills today, completed every pass. I think he only overthrew one pass to Deshaun Jackson, and that chemistry has been pretty much 97-98% very good. Most of the time when they connect, they do connect. Then Carson Wentz had his press conference today. It was talked about pressure and how much pressure is on him with the season, getting paid, getting his contract, and how much pressure is on Carson Wentz this year. And Carson Wentz is not bothered by the pressure. And I don't know how he's not, because you know what? That's just the kind of guy he is. And, you know, most guys would get nervous. But Carson Wentz is just wind to practice, get gel up with his teammates, get the chemistry going, be with the guys, and then start this season the right way. It should. Brandon Brooks, coming back from Achilles injury, looking pretty damn good. Started at the right guard position with the first team today. There was no defense on the field. This was just an offensive warm-up. So he was in the right guard spot. He's aiming to come back week 1, everybody. But if anything happens, in my own opinion, I think he'll be back maybe week 2 or 3, depending on how good he's doing. Because I know Steph Wisniewski or Big V will probably hit into that right guard spot as well. So at least Brandon Brooks is looking good, and he's getting a lot better. He's doing a lot better now. So I can't really complain about that at all. Cornerback Ronald Darby was working with the corners today, individual drills. He did not practice with the team today. They're still being a little careful with him. Another guy that is trying to come back week 1, and honestly, Ronald Darby is aiming to come back week 1, so we'll see about that when the time comes. Safety Blake Countess he warmed up with the team today, and he honestly just left and went back to the facility. So he just warmed up with the team and then went back to the facility. Don't know the details on if there's an injury or whatnot. Maybe dehydration. You really don't know what's going on. But we'll probably find out tomorrow, the next day. See what's going on with Blake Countess, but I wouldn't really be worried too much about it. Cravon LeBlanc hasn't practiced the past 2 days, and I think he maybe did individual drills, but I don't think he practiced with the team at all. Apparently, there was rumors going around today that, you know, they kept him out. Usually, when they keep a healthy player out for more than a couple days, I guess there's some trade rumors. There were some trade rumors going around that he might be trade bait, that he might be getting traded. But Jim Schwartz was asked this question during his press conference, and Jim Schwartz said it was a minor injury. It was nothing to be worried about. So I guess those rumors are shot down. When the Eagles went 2 tight end sets on the field today, when they had Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz on the field, they had Alshon Jeffrey on the left side. They had Deshaun Jackson on the right side. Caused a lot of problems. Dallas Goedert is going to have a monster year this year. Zach Ertz has been the go-to target for Carson Wentz and hopefully spreads the ball around more. Alshon Jeffrey, the intermediate passer route. And then you have Deshaun Jackson as the deep threat spreading the field out. And, that's pretty much what was set up in the 2 tight end set today. Nathan Gary, Camu, Grugier, Hill, and Zach Brown started as the linebackers today. They were, when they got into nickel packages, they took out Zach Brown. They rotated LJ Fort, and they rotated Paul Worlow in as well. And I'm excited to see what LJ Fort can do as well. Probably the best coverage linebacker we have. And then Paul Worlow coming off a torn ACL from last offseason in training camp, where he tore his ACL in the offseason, didn't even hit the field at all. I want to see what Paul Worlow has. I really do. And I hope he works out very well, contributes really well. I'm just hoping. He's a very good blitzer. He used to be a great tackler all over the field. I've known him since he was on the Falcons, and he was a beast. So he's been, hammered down with injuries. But hopefully Paul Worlow is working to come back, working to be 100% and get in there and do some work. So I'm very happy about this linebacker group. Darren Sproles is back. And he looked pretty damn fast today. Had him on a few runs today. Just looks quicker than ever. Looks 100% healthy, and you know what? Can't wait to see this guy added to this arsenal of offensive weapons and seeing what he's doing in this offense. So you want to talk about the kick returns? Well, kick returns were cited today, and Boston Scott was one of the kick returns in the backfield. Now, I think they had Boston Scott and Wendell Smallwood back there. Then they had Boston Scott, Corey Clement. I think it's going to be, what I'm thinking, it's going to be Boston Scott and Wendell Smallwood on the kick returns. So I know in 2018, Boston Scott, when we acquired Boston Scott, he was doing some kick returns. And the guy is very good speed. He's not afraid to run with the ball. He's very aggressive after he gets the ball in his hands and runs upfield pretty nicely. It reminds me of Darren Sproles. Is the Darren Sproles look-alike, pretty much. Well, wide receiver Carlton Agudosi was making some catches today. Caught one good grab today. And then, this offseason, he's really turned the coaches' heads in the wide receiver position and, caught 2 other good passes in the offseason when he had his chances. Not a guy that I know that's really going to make this roster, but hey, this is looking pretty good. At least other receivers are starting to get into the mix now, making some plays, doing some things. So for Agudosi, I give him props and trying hard. I want to see what he does in preseason, but just a guy I know is really not going to make this team, but we'll see down the road. Mack Hollins caught a one-handed screen pass and ran upfield pretty damn fast, and everyone said that he looked pretty damn good in practice today. Looked really good, really healthy. I mean, I was very, very, I didn't think that he was ever really going to come back 100%, but apparently he came back today, showed the coaches that, he's back. He's got his elusiveness. He's got his strength as a receiver, and he's got the best hands. He's got really good hands, And, he rides his bike every day to the NovaCare complex. The guy is just, he loves Philly. In 2017, he really did impress me. Every time he got on the field, he got his chance. He showed what he got. He really did show what he got. And I can't really complain about it because, when a guy that gets his chances and he doesn't blow it, and every time the ball is thrown to him, he catches it. He tries to give himself some space and get a lot of yards. He did a lot of that in 2017, but because of a groin injury, it set him back. But I hope now Mack Hollins could actually make the roster and be another wide receiver for this team if they really need him. And I really hope to God he does make the roster. Jake Elliott missed, I think, a 45 to 50 yard, 245 to 50 yard field goals today. I know we extended Jake Elliott, I think, for another year. I don't know what's going on with Jake Elliott. He's got to be clutch. But you know what? Hopefully in the red zone we don't really have to kick field goals because we have enough weapons, especially in the backfield and all around. We really don't need, Jake Elliott kicking in the red zone at all. I'd rather, Jake Elliott's been weird because he's been missing easy ones and then he's making like 53, 54-yard field goals. It makes no sense. He'll miss the easy ones and make the long ones. So I hope Jake Elliott is just a lot better this year. I have faith in him a lot. I just hope that he doesn't, screw it up and start missing field goals constantly. Because he does have a good leg, but unfortunately, sometimes he has these hiccups during the year where he kicks these easy field goals, and he misses all these field goals, these easy ones, and it makes a huge difference in the game. So hopefully he does a lot better. Jason Peters got interviewed about kind of with the whole Andre Dillard situation. Andre Dillard was, drafted in the first round by the Eagles. Jason Peters knows, and quote unquote knows, this is the guy that's going to take my place, and I'll be happy to mentor him and do whatever I can to make him better. And in my opinion, that's great because there's no selfishness. Jason Peters knows he's done after this year. He's playing this last year, and then he's passing the torch on to Andre Dillard to hold that left side. Okay, because Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach, has a lot of praise for him. Has a lot of praise for for Andre Dillard in the passing and the run game as well. Was the best pass protected left tackle in this draft this past year. But I'm happy that both of them are working together. What's the better player to learn, and get a scoop on things, especially during these great times in training camp to get these valuable mental reps and to, show it on the field when preseason comes. And I'm excited to see what Andre Dillard can do against second, third strings on the field in the preseason in August. So for the cornerback position for the first team, since Ronald Darby, Jalen Mills are not around to practice, they had the same as yesterday, Rasul Douglas on the outside, Avonte Maddox on the outside, and then once they move into nickel package, they moved Avonte Maddox to the nickel, moved Sidney Jones to the outside. So I want to see Sidney Jones. The main corner that I want to see do well is Sidney Jones. I said this in my last video. And I really need a big push from him. He's healthy, finally, thank God. He's just got to stay that way. He's got to push, and he's really got to, this was a top 10 talent that was supposed to get drafted 2 years ago, okay? And, this is really important for him. And I want to see Rasul Douglas do well. Crevon LeBlanc, of course, wasn't there today, of course. So when they went to nickel package, Sidney Jones moved to the outside, and I'm glad that, there is a lot of depth at corner this year. So there's a lot of moving pieces, and we all know that. So other than that, I'm very happy with the cornerback position, and Sidney Jones really needs to make a big push. But that's really it, guys. That's all the news today I have. Other than Clayton Thornton that had a bad day, Nate Sudfeld had a bad day today. They really didn't do much today. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys later. We'll be in for tomorrow for the third day of training camp. I think there's training camp tomorrow. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I will be covering all the training camp and everything going on. So that's really about it, guys. I will see you guys later. Shake, split up, fly, else fly.